Ready to go, sir?
All right, very well. It's B-130 on April 18th, 2023. We're going to commence the proceedings today before the special magistrate for the city of Palatka Code Enforcement. By way of introduction, my name is Ron Brown. I am an attorney licensed in the state of Florida, and pursuant to state law and city code, I've been appointed by the city commission of the city of Palatka to conduct today's proceedings. I'm an attorney who has practiced for 36 years in local government law and spent many hours doing this type of activity and special magistrate work, as well as representing various boards and entities throughout numbers of counties in Northeast Florida. That's not my first time doing this. What we have today is what is called a code enforcement proceeding. It is a creature primarily of state statute, and the procedures are dictated by state statute. We are not a formal court of law. We do not follow the formal rules of evidence. We do not follow the formal rules of civil procedures you might find in a civil court of law. We are required by, again, statute and ordinance to follow the basic notions of due process and fairness, and that we make sure that we have evidence that is what is called substantial and competent. That is evidence that could cause a reasonable person to come to a reasonable conclusion about a certain matter. This is simply a matter of city will be making presentation today regarding their beliefs that there's been a violation of the city code regarding some aspect of the property owner's property. It might be the land, it might be the house, maybe the house, it can be both. The city will be presenting a statement regarding what ordinances are violated and the evidence showing the nature of the violation and what type of relief they would like to get in order to resolve the problem that they claim to exist. The respondent to it here will have an ample opportunity to come forward with any testimony you might have, with any evidence you might have, any rebuttal you might have, asking questions you might have, regardless of what they may be, regarding the subject. At the conclusion of the hearing, I'll be making a decision regarding whether there's a violation and if there should be any type of motivation, if you will, in the way of a fine, which the state statute and city codes allow in regards to the violation itself. Please keep in mind, these are all cases of first hearing. There will be no fines that will be given today in these cases. The worst that can happen is that a fine could begin 30, 60, 90 days, depending on what the city requests and what I find is appropriate in order to bring about compliance. These cases are not designed to be punitive. They are designed to create compliance. There are issues that are there. The city, under the law, is required to reach out to the various property owners and see if they get a resolution of the problem before they bring it before code enforcement. I presume all that has been done, and we are here because we're still trying to find some resolution of the problem. Trust me when I tell you, the city really does not want the money. The city wants compliance. Compliance may cost money. That's something y'all got to deal with. But as a part of ownership of property, it is something that is important. And you may have heard that the city is on its way toward trying to address some issues regarding some of the condition of property in the city. I think this is part of it. Having said that, please be aware I am not the city. I'm appointed by the city. My job as a special magistrate is to preside over these proceedings. The city has their own legal counsel. The respondents are here. They may have legal counsel if they choose. They don't have to. But again, we're trying to get a fair resolution of what's going on and understanding of what's going on. The substantial and competent evidence part, however, is required under the law to include sworn testimony. I'm going to ask at this point everyone who will be testifying today, including the city staff, to please stand and take an oath. Everybody who testifying, please stand. You have to identify yourself and come on. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes. Let the record show everyone who stood up and raised their hand answered in the affirmative. We take cases on the order of the agenda with the exception that we take cases of those who are present first, and we take them in the order in which they appeared today. Having said that, the first case to which there was a respondent appearing today appears to be case 2023-37, the property at 308 Morris Street, and I have the owner of that property being Charlene House. This house, are you here?
I'm here.
Please. And when you come up, I'm going to ask that you come up to the podium and make sure you speak in the microphone. The reason for that is that we are making a recording of the proceedings. That will be kept, so there's a record of what is transpired today. And for the record, you are the Charlene House who's under the property?
Charlene House.
Okay, got that one. And you have taken the oath, correct?
Yes.
Very well. For whose case? All right. You may begin. She's going to their case. Now, there's some photographs you're going to see up here on the screen, and they are numbered and they are referenced, I think, in most cases, to which section of the code is affected. And if I may, as a matter of beginning, this particular case appears to be a reference to section 30-169 of the municipal code of the city of Palatka. Building fronts and sides of budding streets or public areas, rotten or weakened wood, mold, and mildew. The pertinent section of that code, they usually outline it for us here. Pertinent section of that code provides that all deteriorated structural and decorative elements visible from a public right of way should be repaired or replaced. Every such part of a structure visible from a public right of way or budding street shall be made structurally sound. Rotten or weakened portions should be removed, repaired, or replaced in a manner compatible with the rest of the structure or to match the original materials and construction techniques. Mildew shall be cleaned from the buildings having street visibility, and loose wires such as TV cables shall be secured. And those are the pertinent sections of the code. All right, maybe.
Yes, Magistrate. I first observed this property on February, 308 Morris Street, case number 202337. First observed the complaint on February 23rd, 2023. The notice of hearing was set for today. The green card was signed, and we did the site posting and posting on site. This is rotten weakened wood in the top part of the house.
And which reference photograph is this?
This should be 1A,
Okay, very good, thank you.
and then this is 1B, when I did my follow-up.
All right.
This
And
is,
so go back to 1A.
Yes, sir.
Specifically in that photograph, what are the violations and what, according to the city, should be done to cure the violation?
it needs to be removed, repaired, or replaced, sir.
I'm sorry?
Removed, repaired, or replaced,
The what?
rotten weakened wood.
Okay, so where specifically?
Right there in the corner, there's, yes,
The roof's okay?
yes, sir.
So this is right at the corner of the second story bottom.
Yes, sir. In between the two windows.
Is that window sash is also included?
It's right there in that window, in that corner right there, yes, sir.
All right. And the reason I'm asking is I like to have some kind of verbal representation, somebody can read
Yes,
and
sir.
understand from reading it exactly what's being done. Okay, next. By the way, does this property front Morris Street?
Yes, sir.
Can you see these sides of the building from Morris Street?
Yes, sir. And that's just more, rotten weakened wood.
So this is the section to the right of the
On the first
information
story.
square, the lower part of the building,
Yes, sir.
that just needs to be replaced. Is
Yes, sir.
that a whole section there that goes all the way up to the first story?
Right up to the first story of the tin roof.
The whole section needs to be replaced?
Yes, sir.
Next.
And then that's the first observed mold and mildew.
This is on the other side of
Other
the
side of
house,
the house, yes, sir.
and what needs to be done, remove that, can you pressure wash it?
Pressure wash.
It?
Yes, sir.
Pressure washing?
Yes, sir.
What,
And that's just a follow-up picture of the mold.
all right. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right, so where you are, as I understand it, is that we have a building on Morris Street, visible from Morris Street, with fronts and sides, so that there's rotten and weakened wood in one corner, a side that needs to be replaced, and then the third side where there needs to be pressure washing for mold and mildew. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Hi. Your chance.
Okay, so,
I was trying to keep it up.
this letter was sent to me in March. It's postmarked here sent out from Palatka on the 24th. It went to Orlando on the 27th. I'm not sure why. I have a job that takes me out of town, so when I get back into town, I get my mail and everything. It was picked up on the 3rd, on the 1st of the 3rd month, which was March. As soon as I received the letter, I came down to the office and I inquired about, what the letter said. And I was informed that there were no notes, there was nothing on there to show that anything was written up about this property. And that was on the 5th. There was nothing on there. Besides that, the letter has no date, no comply by date on here. Further reading, it says that there's a 30 days hearing, 60 days, but there's no date on here, no comply by date. It was just like, all those things were there. Then I have to come to court less than 60 days later. When I did receive the letter, within, I'd say 4 days, it was a group effort, neighborhood effort. We cleaned up. We did a majority of cleanup and addressed some of the issues and all that, but I do acknowledge that there is work to be done on it. I do need time. I do need time, and I cannot pull out rotten wood to replace it when it's structurally, I don't want to get into load bearing walls, you remove something in these historic homes and then you uncover something else. Besides that, I need permits if I have to remove anything out of the house. So I am asking for a length of time that will allow me to pull permits to get this done.
And thank you for that. Let me clarify a couple things. I want to make sure we have the correct address. The certified letter was sent to 313 Dodge Street, Palatka, Florida, 32177.
Yes,
Is that a correct address?
it was a register. I had to sign for it.
Okay,
Yeah,
but that was a correct address.
that was the correct.
Okay, I'll make sure you got that.
Yes,
The city is required to send a certified letter by state statute to the address of record that the property appraiser attached to have for the property. So you did get the correct address. They did post the property in excess of that. The city, like I said, really doesn't want your money. They want some compliance. They have asked in their recommendations for 90 days. That would be until July 17th. Does that pose a problem? There's no fine before then.
that would pose a problem for me to pull permits because I have a job that takes me out of town. I'm gone for 8 days at a time. Plus, I'm taking care of my elderly mother in Trinidad. So
Well, for my
when I come
edification,
back, I'll get, permits and everything.
for my edification, when was the city, you talked about this? before?
No. I picked up this letter on the 1st of March. It went to Orlando for some reason. And then I have to come to court.
Well, the city didn't send it to Orlando, the post office did.
Well, something happened.
Well, I understand that. The city's address, they sent it to the 308 Morris Street.
No, they sent it to 313 Dodge Street.
Dodge Street, they sent it to the
Yeah.
local address. But
Yeah.
that's the address of record. That is
Yeah,
your address.
that's my mailing
All right,
address.
so they didn't forward it to Orlando.
Why does it have a stamp?
I don't
Like
know.
to Orlando? So that,
Oh, well, that might be the processing center. Sometimes post office sends these things to a processing center, get stamped.
and then on the letter has no date. I should have had like a comply date to give me.
Let me ask about that. And then we ask, what is the conversation that's taking place? The city is supposed to be taking an effort to try to resolve it before the grant. What effort did the city make to do that?
Correct, Judge. This was the first time I'm speaking with,
Did you make any effort to try?
I did go by the residence. She does not live at the 308. I did see where they had cleaned up some. She does live at Dodge Street, but there was nobody home when I went by the residence.
Okay. Any other efforts to start contacting that you have information on?
I didn't have any.
Where this is, I mean, how much time do you think you need? And that's not dispositive of the solution, but I mean, it looks to me like there's a violation of these two
I
codes.
agree. Well, I did speak, Ms. Lowe. Yes, ma'am. I was speaking with Ms. Lowe, before we started this, and, she did tell me that, a 90 days from today was plausible, was doable, and I can do that.
Okay.
I can, with that being said, I want to have like, that time to get permits and start in compliance, I suppose, you
Is
know?
there any reason why all of that cannot be accomplished in 90 days? Now, the working this seems slow.
No, sir, that can be accomplished.
They seem to think they can get it done, you can. And again, city's not after your money, they're just after compliance. And so there's no fine that would begin to accrue, before Monday, July 17th, is that correct, Ms. Hughes?
Yes,
That's a non-compliance day,
yes, sir.
can't be right, is
The-
that the last day of compliance?
For the May date, sir?
Well, this is not
Oh,
the
excuse me, this is for 90 days, Monday, July 17th.
last day.
That's the day that needs to be in compliance, and then the 91st day would be, the fines would start on the 18th.
It would get you to the end of business on Monday, July 17th.
To pull permits, to get permits.
You have to ask the city if that's enough for compliance.
Ms. Lowe?
Correct. Once you get your permit, you have until that permit expires.
Okay, and so I'm not, so if I get, just to clarify, I get my permits and I'm working on this. If the 90 days, has elapsed, I don't have all of the work done, but I am working on it.
You have until your end of your permit.
And how long does the permit last?
Yes, how long was
Usually 6 months.
Okay, okay, 6 months, and then I can also apply for an extension
Yes.
on that if work is not done.
And let me, just so you know, for what this worth. Usually these things get here, and like I said, whatever reason they may have in trying to get contact with the respondents. The city and I am looking for a good faith belief that this is going to get done, that the compliance will occur. A lot of people come in and say they're going to do something and never do it. Then
No, I
they're
don't
not
want
here.
to.
And so when you say, keep asking for extensions, I'm going like, well, how long can this go on? And that's up to the city to make a decision. My only job here today is to determine if there's a violation. And I think there's a violation of these two code provisions. What we're now talking about is how long you get to fix it. And there's no penalty at this point for the 90 days. And the city's telling you, for the record, that acquiring the necessary permits for this work is sufficient. However, you can run into a situation where you don't have a permit anymore, and then that could be another violation. And so you need to make sure you're aware of those dates. And again, you don't want to be back here because of failure to deal with this, because then that's.
No, and I'm not saying that, I'm just asking for extensions. because
I appreciate the fact you're having to travel and you're out
For
of
long.
town, but
Yes, but in the event, I do have to ask this because I am taking care of my elderly mother in Trinidad. I have to be out of town for my job and then go down to Trinidad, and she's getting cataract surgery done. So I have to, I know it does not matter, but in the event there is some delay where I run into because of that, is there anything I can report I can take because of that?
Just communicate with us
Anyway.
Okay.
and I cannot emphasize enough the importance of maintaining communication. The worst thing you can do, or anyone can do, if there's a problem, is not communicate about it. But if you don't communicate about it, we're going to assume non-compliance.
I understand.
Mr.
I
Brown,
understand.
Well, you're good?
Mr. Brown,
Okay, we're.
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, before you do your ruling, to make sure you understand it, you also gotta make sure you go through the COA in your historical district to make sure you follow with compliance with them first. That's why you had the 90 days to make sure you get with Ms. Walsh back there and be in compliance with everything you need to go. So that's why we're giving you 90 days to get through with her and make sure you pull all the necessary permits that you need, and then we give you to the permit expiration time period to be in compliance.
Okay.
Then after that, now, like Mr.
So I have 2
Brown,
days to comply with?
you have 90 days to pull all the permits and get all the information from the,
You might want to stop and talk to Ms. Walsh.
Ms. Walsh. to make sure you're in compliance, get all that. And then you have until the permit expiration date before you come out, then you be out of compliance.
All right, for the record, we're going to find a violation of section 30-69 of the municipal code, city of Palatka, regarding building fronts inside the building streets or areas. The building is fronting Morris Street. We have lot and weakened wood at a corner on the second floor And we have a missing wood on a sideboard almost for the entire length of the first story with moldability and foot by the house. Will enter an order finding violation, accepting a daily fine of $25 a day if the property is not brought into compliance within 90 days. And the hearing will occur by the end of business on July 17th, 2023. And the minimum compliance at fine will begin to accrue on July 18th, 2023. It's my understanding that the compliance will require permits from both the planning and building department as well as architecture review, sort of architecture review, because you are in here for this. Okay, and this will also be back.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. All right, case number 2.
1009 North 15th Street, sir.
Okay. And we're looking for Arliss Walker and Connie Walker. Are you Mr. Walker?
No, that's 1422, Mr. Brown.
Okay, well, number 2.
The heirs are Verbena Bryant.
Hang on.
Yes, sir.
Very good, all right. We keep moving the word on it. You would be, Mr. Bryan, or you? And what is your name for the record, sir?
John L. Bryan.
And you are heir of, is that Verbena?
Verbena.
Verbena, right, and she is your, how long has she been deceased?
2 years, 3 years ago.
Have you already tried to probate this estate and get the property into the name of the proper heirs?
Yeah, and it's also arranged to have young.
It is one of the difficulties of that kind of thing. It's hard sometimes to do that. This is the case, property located at 1009 North 15th Street. The alleged violation is of Municipal Code of City of Palatka, Section 30-32A, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, specifically tires and debris. That section of the code. Yeah, with this one, I've got tires and debris. I've got a part of this code that talks about, within the underlying part that talks about moving materials, also talks about fencing. Is that what we are?
3032A, number 3.
Tire and debris. Tire and debris. Tires and debris.
The presentation includes sections from the code,
Yes, sir.
which seem to be in excess of what is included. So what specific sections of the code are we looking at? 30-32A.
Some of those come into compliance.
Okay, what got it? I'm just talking about, you've got all these extra parts on your line. That's what might be the pertinent part of that.
This is where.
Okay. All right. So which section are we talking about?
We're talking about 109.
I got 30-169, is that correct? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different violations.
That's
All
it right
right.
there.
Mine-
That's the whole packet, right?
Gotcha. 4. Okay.
For 1009 15th.
Okay, help me out. Where's the front page? That's it there. Order violation. Okay, and this one goes to which?
618.
All right, that was one of, okay, what we have was a front page that was misplaced on top of another file.
Glad we have that cleared up, sir.
I'm sure this would have been better had it been on the front page. Okay, case number 2 was given to me as 2023-45.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bryan, correct? We have you here. So This is not that case. Read the rest of it. 3045.
Yeah,
I don't seem to have 3045.
305 at all.
That's front page.
zero three four, correct?
That page 11.
There's one more.
Because, but 043, 058, 034,
That's it.
047,
That's the one.
057.
Is it 3045? So it may be the cover sheet has a different case number.
I don't see anything that's got, anything but a cover sheet that's got 3045.
Okay. Christie, here's Eddie's copy here. That should-
Now we're at 3045. It's in the front page of this narrow little, all right, that explains this.
Sorry about that, sir.
Sorry about that, make sure I've got the information. But I don't really get a chance to review these much until they actually come today, so I'm dependent on them for that regard. So, three judges did anything, we're gonna have to go with what we did here. Again, you are Mr. Bryant, you are the son of the deceased owner of the property, that would be Virginia Bryant, correct?
Yes.
This is the property, 1009 North 15th Street. All right. 30-32A seems to be the ordinance in question, talks about prohibited conditions and public nuisances, specifically tire and debris. And as I understand it, look at subsection 3, the existence of all other objectionable, unsightly, or unsanitary matter which are the conditions on the included property. That's the pertinent section of the code.
Yes, sir.
So we have that. So basically, we're talking about tires and debris on the property, correct?
Yes, sir.
And just for our record, make sure we have all the due process taken care of. Is there a green card sign?
No, sir, both of them come back unsigned.
Is that the sign? Mr. Brian, just so you know, I don't know how this, how you've done this with your family before, but in the case of deceased person, this sometimes occurs. The official address for this property is 109 North 15th Street, Palatka, Florida 32177. That's where the mail is going to go. And that is a requirement of state law and city code that the city send the mail, certified mail, to the address of record on the property appraiser and tax collector rolls. The property appraiser and tax collector will also probably send the mail to that address. Did that get forwarded?
I have the mail.
You have them, you got the, certified letter?
I've never signed it, actually, he came when I was at work and he's got me responsible the way I'm in. And we're working on scanning.
So they gave you the letter without you signing to it?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. And you also posted the property, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you see it posted on the property? Very good. And those are the two ways that the city by law can notify you that you're here, which is a good thing.
Yes,
All right, so you're here and that is a good address.
yes.
All right. And so, Ms. Lowe, we're looking at a violation section 30-32A, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, tires and debris. And you have some demonstrative evidence for me?
Yes, sir.
And for the record, let me inquire, did you take these photographs?
Yes, sir. I
And
did.
do they actually represent the conditions of property data which you took?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Yes, sir. This is case number 2023-45-1009 North 15th Street. This is photograph 1A. It was taken on February 27th, 2023. This was the follow-up to the same case. This is going to be picture 1B, and it was taken on 4/17/2023.
So go back to that photo. Go back to the first photo. You basically have two photos.
Yes, sir.
All right. In this photo, can you specifically tell me what the violation is and specifically what the owner needs to remove in the city's opinion to cure the violation?
Correct. On the first offense here, this one here, you can see from the roadway, there's tires, there's a bunch of metal, some lawn equipment. All piled debris.
Okay. And what on the next one?
That's the follow-up, some of the cleanup. You can still see some of the debris from the roadway.
Okay. Have you had opportunity to meet and discuss or telephone discuss with the owner?
Yes, sir, I've met with him several times.
Okay, and have there been promises to do something about this?
He actually has done most of the work. This is what's left, and we've spoken. He says he needs about 30 more days to get all this cleared up.
You felt it would be necessary to go ahead and have a hearing in order to finish the job, or?
I didn't get to speak with him until the Friday of my follow-up because he has been gone. And then he asked me to give him the weekend before I come back and get pictures. So that was Monday,
How much time are you asking for compliance?
30 days.
All right, Mr. Bryant, the city basically saying that the car is okay where it is,
No, sir, we discussed that. He's just got to get it licensed and registered.
so it's an operable vehicle.
That would be my mother's car and I'll take care of it.
So what they need to do is get the car licensed or moved, and then get the, basically it gets the man-made debris. Is that a lion head? Is that a dog head or lion head? Is that art, lawn art, or is that a violation?
That's not part of the violation.
Mostly, except for that. And the man-made debris needs to go there. Go back to the other picture. Most of these chairs and the items to the left of the chairs need to go.
He just needs to straighten them up out of the debris if they're in there. So,
Or just make sure you understand what you need to do.
yes, sir.
Do you disagree with that situation? And you solve this problem in 30 days?
Again,
Okay, I'm sorry you're here, but you have an easy solution. And again, that being the case, there's no fine that starts to accrue today. Your fine, the only way it would accrue is if there's not compliance by the end of the day on Thursday, May 18th. Is that correct? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so you got Thursday, May 18th. You don't do it by then, a fine could start. You need to make sure you stay in touch with Ms. Lowe and have her come out and take a look at the situation.
I will.
This doesn't look like this is a difficult problem to solve.
She's been helping me.
Right. Well, and everybody understands something. A lot of times these things are generated by neighborhood complaints, but sometimes, code enforcement sees these things and they can influence them as long as they've got personal knowledge of what's going on. But it's hard to hide these things. And believe me, neighbors and friends can let you know about them, but sometimes it ends up here. Okay. Any difficulties with getting this done in your?
No, sir.
If that's the case, based on the evidence and testimony presented and the statements of the respondent, we're going to find a violation of Florida section of municipal city code Palatka, Florida section 30-32A, prohibited conditions of public nuisances due to tires and debris and the unlicensed vehicle on the property. Okay, and you'll have until the end of the day on Thursday, May 18th, 2023, to get compliance. If there's not compliance by that day, the fine $25 a day to begin to do the property. You don't want to have that happen. Okay, you're going to be getting a letter at the address of record with regard to that, and you know how to get in touch with the road to make sure you're in contact. All right, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time.
1422, Mr. Brown.
1422 Washington. Let me make sure I got it all on the piece here. Okay, next case is going to be case 2023-59, the property located at 1422 Washington Street, Palatka. Owners of record include Ellis C. Walker Jr. and Connie F. Walker. Hi, are you the Walkers? Yes, sir. Thank you for coming today and your patience with all of this. The city is making claims on like 5 different violations. One of 30-169. But the city code building fronts and sides of letting streets of public areas deteriorate. section 30-32A1, the prohibited conditions of public nuisances, trash and debris on the property. Section 30-32A, prohibited conditions of public nuisances, roofing and disrepair. Municipal code city for 30-171, windows is broken windows. And finally, 30-215, exposed, blighted, unsecured, abandoned structure registration. What is that?
Yes, sir. He closed, he repaired, he secured the building.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And then, bit of the fashion debris also. It was only 3.
We're going 3 on?
Yes, sir. 31,
Which
59,
3?
30-169, deteriorating paint.
Which one? I'm sorry.
30-169, deteriorating paint.
That's number 1.
Yes, sir. And then also number 3.
Number 3.
Yes, sir. And, number 4.
So we're looking at 1, 3, and 4.
Yes, sir.
So you've made some efforts for compliance, thank you. Yes, sir. 1, 3, and 4. So what they're looking at is building fronts and sides, deteriorating paint, trash and debris, excuse me, not that one, roofing and disrepair, and broken windows. Okay. Ms. Lowe, can you show us what you have? And you took the photographs you're about to show us? Well, Mr. Green, I'm sorry. Mr. Green, did you take the photographs you're showing us today?
Yes, I did, sir.
And do these actually represent the condition of the property later which you built?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed.
Yes, sir. The first picture is, 3/16/2023, showing the roofing and disrepair.
Okay, and this is on Washington Street.
Yes, sir.
So what needs to be done to repair?
That's 15th Street. It's 15 on Washington. It's on the corner of 15 on Washington. So that's 15th Street. That's the side of the house.
Okay, on 1422 Washington.
Yes, sir.
All right, 1 second. And so what needs to be done to that roof?
Repair, remove, or replace.
Can it be repaired?
And this is 4/14/2023.
Same roof?
Yes, sir. This is picture 1B.
Okay. Yeah,
That's another picture of roofing and disrepair. 3/16/2023.
is that some of the metal roof
Yes, sir.
and it becomes separated?
Yes, sir. And that's another picture of 4/14/2023, picture 2B. Showing the roofing and disrepair.
So can this roof be repaired?
I spoke with Mr. Artis earlier, he says that he wants to just take the roof off and repair it, replace it.
The city's happy with that option.
Yes,
All right, well, that's him in a minute. Okay, what's next?
that's a deteriorating paint 3/16/2023, picture 3.
So it needs to be repainted?
Yes, sir.
Or is there a paint palette that's required? This is not the historic area, right?
It's uniform coat of paint, Mr. Brown.
Uniform, okay. There are paint palette requirements in some places. All right, so that needs to be painted.
This is picture 3B, 4/14/2023, deteriorating paint.
And why is it deteriorated?
I have no idea, Mr. Brown.
Well, you're the one bringing the carrots. Why, I mean,
Rain,
what
weather.
makes it deteriorate?
Weather,
I mean, what is about it that tells the city that it's deteriorating?
it's fading and it's got different bright spots and faded spots, so it's deteriorating.
So it's inconsistent.
Yes, sir.
Next,
Same picture the other side of the house. 3/16/2023, picture 4, deteriorating paint. This is 4/14/23, 4B.
same issue.
Yes, sir, deteriorating paint.
Okay.
And this is the broken window, 3/16/2023, picture 5.
Okay. That's one.
And this is 31/17, broken window, 5B.
Different window.
It's the same one.
Same window?
Yes,
It's
You got one window?
that's it.
So where you are is fix that window, shown 5B.
Yes, sir.
Repaint the house a uniform color
Yes, sir.
and
Better,
repair or replace the roof.
yes, sir.
So what would constitute compliance? You're getting permits or getting the work finished or what? You're looking at how many days are you asking?
90 days to get a permit.
Okay. Okay, does it need a permit for all 3 activities?
They just need permit for the roof.
What about the painting?
No, sir.
You want the painting completed within 90 days?
Yes, sir.
You want the roof, the
Yes.
window repaired within,
Yes, sir.
and you get painting done within 90 days, understand?
Yes, sir.
He seems to be very responsive to this. Sometimes contractors are hard to find, and make sure we cool. Just for the record, we have this address at 406 Rondell Cove, Orange Park, Florida, which is 065, that's correct address for you?
Yes, sir.
All right, you've got the first my letter.
Yes.
And thank you for coming down from Orange Park. Sometimes that's not the most fun trip. Maybe that trip may be fun. Okay, where the city is that there are 3 violations. 1, fix the window. 2, paint it. 3, do something to the roof. In the case of the roof, they're saying get a permit for the roof repair within 90 days. The other 2 they'd like to see completed within 90 days. Do you have any questions or comments concerning the violations themselves in terms of whether they exist?
This is, we are well aware. And so, what we want to do is, comply with the 90 days and as well as, we spend a lot of money, time and effort getting squatters out of that house. I paid the police department down there on these 4 occasions where I was present at the same time. So, as Mr. Green stated, we did, when I first got the letter, I came down that immediately that Saturday and hauled 2 trailer loads to the landfill. So we are aware that it is a household, and we are ladies, my wife and I both, married in 73, graduated in 73, then they stuff right here. So we don't want that on our watch. So we're gonna look at the repair price, the cost of replacement. So that's gonna give me some time. I go down and
And
figure
I'll
out.
leave that up to you.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna figure out how to get the permit.
Let me ask you a question on this photo right here, 5D. That looks like uncovered stucco lathe work on there.
That, listen, it is.
Is that gonna have to be stucco?
Yes, all of them. Please, yes.
So if you believe you can get this work done in that time and it's reasonable, like if I'm most concerned, make sure you get a painting contract within 90 days. You need to stay in touch with Mr. Green concerning that progress. Fix the window, get it repainted, and then get your permit for the roofing. You only need to go to planning and building department for the permit, 1 permit.
They need to go to the Palatka County Building Inspector. It's not even started this year, I don't think.
Okay. And you know how to do that? And he'll make sure you get with Mr. Green on how to do that before you do that.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't, no sense spending a lot of time trying to find the right source. But sometimes they sure do too. All right. Mr. Green, you gave him 90 days, which would be a compliance date by the end of business on July 17th, 2023. But you asked for $125 fines. There's a reason why you're.
That was when, other code was still on it, so now it's 75. Yeah.
Okay, so you want 75?
Yes,
You're not paying that unless you don't get, so the record shows, the city's looking for a $75 fine and then I'm not compliant, but you have 90 days.
Yes.
That being the case, we're going to find a violation of 30-169 of the municipal code, building parts inside of letting streets or public areas due to deteriorating paint, with the solution being a repaint, so consistent paint.
yes, sir.
There are no color issues. Violation of 30-32A of the state code, prohibited condition of public nuisances. The roofing is in disrepair, needs to either be repaired or replaced. That will require obtaining a permit from the Palatka County Building Department within 90 days or by the end of business on Monday, July 17th, 2022. And number 3, a violation of municipal city code 30-171, windows of 1 broken window need to be repaired. It's like you might need a little stucco work around that window also.
Yes.
And we have that repaired. If that can be done, we'll find those violations, require that there be compliance and waiver that the other business on Monday, July 17th, 2023. If been non-compliance, fine of $75 a day will commence on July 18th, 2023. Any issues, you get a letter, it's to the address we talked about. Okay. I want to thank you all for coming in. I know the trip. We got it, looks like a decent piece of property here that looks like you could evaluate with you, and then you can be interested in and just make sure you stay in touch with Mr. Green about progress, and hopefully I won't have to see you again.
And I
Not that I really want to see you, but
And I apologize to the city of Palatka, because I said we are natives here, and we have been dealing with other issues, getting the yard, you clean the yard out, people bring trash back in, they get in the house, fill it up, a lot of money doing it, so we're getting this done, we thank you for your time.
You know, one of the things, this is not relevant to this,
Yes, sir.
our hearing is over at this point. One thing about Palatka, and I'm a native, I was one,
Yes, me.
and I've seen a lot of changes in the community and what's going on. And a lot of fine properties here that need some attention. And they really need people who are willing to come in and invest in. And I think the city appreciates the fact that you're willing to do that,
Yes.
starting here under this particular set of circumstances. But property ownership has issues, and sometimes they're difficult to deal with, and sometimes they're expensive to deal with.
Yes,
And so we appreciate that you're dealing with all of that. I'm sure the city will be glad to work with you in regards to all of that too. And hopefully, like I said, I won't see you again on this meeting.
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your help.
511 Bronson is next, Mr. Brown.
511 Bronson, this is case number 2023-58. I have, hang on, make sure I get to 511 Bronson. I'm looking at Daniel Porter, is that correct? And Ingrid, Latoya, is that correct?
She's my wife, she's.
She's not, it's fine, you're here, you're one of the owners of the property, right? But she's your wife,
Yes.
very good. And you've taken the oath, correct?
Yeah, but I have,
Oh, you need an interpretation?
it's wrong, yeah, I'm learning.
How would you like to handle that?
She's my.
Keep your confidential, but that's fine.
I like to try to make by myself, but probably with him.
And you are Ingrid?
No, she's my.
Okay.
You're the interpreter?
Yes.
Okay, we can trust you, right?
Yeah. Amy is my cousin.
This is fine. So we've run across issues before when we had to deal with that. My Spanish is so rudimentary, I can barely word a year. So I'm not going to be helpful. I presume it's Spanish, am I correct, or do I need Spanish? Could have been Portuguese.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going to happen. All right. And I'll go slowly, and if you have any questions, you need some time, make sure you let me know. You can, I want to step on her translation to you. We are here today, because the city has alleged, and there's still 4 violations. Who
Yes,
cases this? Which brings you
Yes,
case. The city has alleged 4 violations of the city code. The first violation deals with section 30-32, which regards prohibited conditions and public nuisances, basically due to the roof being in disrepair. The roof needs to be fixed. Number 2, section 30-169 of the code talks about the fronts and sides of buildings that you can see from a public street. In this case, I presume Bronson Street, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And there's rotten and weakened wood. The code provides that wood be replaced or repaired if it's just rotten and weakened, and you can see it from the street. Number 3, what section 30-215 talks about blighted, unsecured, or abandoned structures. And this is basically an unsecured entry, which means that the house has window or doorway that's open and there's no way to keep people out. It needs to be closed. And number 4, section 30-170, rear and side walls due to deteriorating paint. And that's, you'll have to show us what that means when it comes in there. So there are 4 violations. What Mr. Green is going to do is show us some photographs that he's taken and show us what each of the violations are and what the city wants done to cure the violations. And you'll get a chance to tell me what your response to that is and your response to what the city would like to see done. Just so you know, the city is asked for 90 days from today to solve these problems. And that would be July 17th. We'll see what the problems are and we'll take a look at whether that's appropriate. There's no fine that starts today. And you're looking for $100 a day, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Which is within the provision. No fine today, though. Okay. So what's going to happen? Let me first of all, you are here. Make sure we have good addresses. The city has an address for this property, 128 Spring Street, Jacksonville, Florida, 32259. Is that a 9 or 4?
9.
9. Okay. Is that the correct address? Please. Okay. And you did get the green card and the letter, so that address. We just want to make sure it's a good address for you. All right, you are here. All right, Mr. Green, tell us about this problem.
Yes, sir.
You look on the screen and you go through them slowly, make sure there's no question. He's going to show you photographs of the property. He's got the property listed and the photographs are usually, I think this is an overview of the property.
Yes, sir.
Correct? And then he's going to show you photograph and reference which ordinance is violated in the photograph. And for the record, Mr. Green, did you take these photographs yourself?
Yes, I did.
And do they accurately represent the condition of the property on the date in which you took them?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed.
This is picture 3/16/2023, showing the rotten weakened wood on the porch. That's in the front yard facing Bronson Street.
All right, so what needs to be replaced or repaired?
All the rotten weakened wood in the motor mill building to be repaired or replaced.
So is that all that balustrade need to be replaced?
Yes, sir. Well, if they paint pressure wash it, was not rotten, and we can guess
It just needs to know where it is. I mean,
along the bounds of the handrail and on the porch itself.
okay. Now, this also the flooring of the porch,
Yes, sir.
or all the wood need to be replaced
Just that blackened wood in the middle.
on the left?
Yes, sir.
All right. I would make sure you're all on the same page to find out precisely how much of the porch needs to be replaced. All right, but right now, he's saying that the wood is rotten, rails, handrail, and at least 40% of the porch that I'm looking at. Next,
This is picture 2/4/14/23.
and so we're looking here rotten wood.
Yes, sir. The rotten wood,
Is it-
more than
So is this
middle.
more of the porch?
Yes, sir. And more than middle.
You see on the left-hand side, some of this looks like it's falling.
Yes, sir. It's the next picture after that.
And the mildew, what needs to be done with that?
Pressure washing. Yes, sir. Pressure washing.
Okay.
And that's another rotten weakened wood. That's the left
This
side.
is on the left side of the porch
Yes,
that
sir.
was shown on the previous picture.
Yes, sir. And after we sit.
So you're talking about the little soffit type section on the front there as well as the wood on the deck.
Yes. Sir. And that's 4/14/2023 rotten weakened wood.
Same area. actually.
Yes, sir.
So
This
you're
is,
roofing this, we're talking about the roofing over the porch
yes, sir, the rotten weakened and the
is the main
panels
roof,
going off the top of the roof. Yes, sir.
the main roof okay?
Yes, sir.
So you're looking at just the roofing over the porch.
Yes, sir.
Great. Next,
And this is 4/14/23, the same picture, 3B of the roofing.
is this like, what is that? Is that like a soffit? Oh, that's the roof itself. That's the roof over the porch. I see. My depth perception, I'm trying to get a picture of it. So that's the same roof over the porch you showed me. in the
Yes, sir.
previous picture.
This is closer picture.
What is that wood? Is that a wooden roof?
That's a tin roof.
Tin roof?
Yes, sir.
Can that be cleaned or need to be repaired?
The roofing on over the porch or the roofing of the house?
No, the roofing over the porch. that's what-
Oh, yes, it need, I think we save and replace.
But it can't be cleaned.
No, sir.
That's not mold. That's
That's
rock.
right, yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Next. Same area of the porch over the
No, sir.
roof over the porch.
Yes.
Good, next.
That's-
Again, another shot of the roof over the porch.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And this is what I call exposed walls. We had a conversation about what to call it, but that's lab. Yes, sucker hadn't been put on.
Well, we put on the violation of 40-169, dealing with, building fronts and sides, rotten and weakened wood. So you're saying,
That's what, that's
is that
paint.
over the wood?
Yes, that's paint deteriorated, I guess you would call it. But it's lab, with the lab that they stuck over it, that's lab, but they have it up, but they don't have any stucco on.
So they put this over the top of the wood siding.
Yes, sir. But they never came back and stuck over it.
You know what's under there?
No, sir.
Okay, next.
And this is 4/14. a little bit closer picture,
Okay.
a little closer picture of the lab.
So again, you talk about exposed walls.
Listen. I call it exposed because the lab is there, but it's empty and there's no stucco or no paint on it, so.
Well, 169 provides rotten or weakened portions should be removed, repaired, or replaced in manner compared with the rest of the structure to match the original materials and construction techniques. While exposed wood should be stained or painted, every part should be cleaned for graffiti, litter, dirt, and other debris. And basically got the wood covered with something. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Whatever that is. Mildew should be cleaned from buildings having street visibility. No more than 10% of buildings having street visibility may have mildew. And 170, okay, we got to that yet, rear and side walls? Okay, show me what else you have.
That's another picture, that's the other side of the house.
Okay.
And that says B 414, 23 to 23.
That's it, sir.
We had a 170 painted situation. Did you have one? Which one was that?
That was the, I didn't have one.
Yes, sir.
No, sir, I didn't have paint there on my,
All right, it was only,
yes, sir.
so number 4 is not a violation. Yep. So what we're looking at is violation of section 30-32, is the roofing being in disrepair. And the roofing we're talking about is the roofing over the front porch only. That's
Yes, sir.
And that's the entire length of the front porch.
Yes, sir.
Number 2, in relation to 30-169 of the code, building fronts and sides, rotten and weakened wood, we're talking about the balustrades, the handrails, and the decking of the porch as well as the front facing of the porch.
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes.
As to that. And then you had unsecured entry.
That's the skirting around the house,
I'm sorry,
the skirting at the bottom of the house.
show me exactly.
Right there.
It's,
How is that an unsecured entry?
They can, someone or a child can crawl up under the house.
Did you crawl up in the house to see if you get in
And no,
it? How do you know it's unsecured?
it's open. I mean, you can see under the house.
Okay,
Go to
help me out here. The thing about security is, can someone get into the house through an opening in the house?
Okay.
Is the city taking the position of being able to crawl under the house as a violation of that code provision?
That was the intent that we looked at. We were trying to make sure that the house was secure and sealed. But I see where you're going. So to be the best builder of the city, we'll remove that violation from this case.
I'm just trying to see what I'm dealing with here. I should have run across this before, the question of, you may be able to call under somebody's house, you can't get in the house. And I don't know if the code talks about that so much as getting in the house.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take it through. So basically we're looking at number 1 and 2 that deals with replacing that roof over the front porch and then the rotten and weakened wood on the porch. Any place else on the house that needs to be addressed other than the roof, basically it's the porch.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, Mr. Gordon, do you understand what the city's looking for? We've got the number of violations reduced to 2. And the city wants you to probably repair or replace that roof, which would require getting a permit
Yeah.
from the county
Yes, sir.
and to get a permit within 90 days.
Yes, sir.
All right, you don't have to get a permit today, but you need to get the permit within 90 days. You don't have to get the work finished, but you need to make progress. If you don't make progress, once you get the permit will expire and then you might end up back here. Number 2, you need to replace, I would say, almost all the wood on that porch needs to be replaced. Is that going to require a permit?
Yes.
We ran into that on another property.
Yes.
And
So
yeah,
that also requires permits. So basically, within 90 days, you need to get all the permits to repair the roof and repair the porch. Mr. Green will tell you who the county to contact regarding where to get those permits. You need to get those permits, okay? Then you need to make good progress on the work. But if you get the permits, you're basically in compliance, so there'll be no fine. If you do not get the permits, both of them, you could have a fine of $100 a day that would start on July 18th. Okay, so you've got 3 months. Understand? Yes. So basically, you gotta get permits for that roof and that porch. And then you've gotta go to the county. Mr. Green will help you find out who's there at the county. Okay? Any questions? Okay, you've been very good. I hope I've been clear about it all. So we're going to find a violation of 30-32 of the city code regarding prohibited conditions and public nuisances, roofing and disrepair, and requiring a replacement of the roof over the front porch. And a violation of section 30-169, building fronts and sides of letting streets or public areas, rotten or weakened wood, and that's basically the wood on the front porch. It's the flooring and the railings on the front porch. Okay, those require permits from the county. You need to get those permits within 90 days, and you need to make a bona fide good faith effort to get that work done. Those permits will expire in 6 months, usually, and you need to get it done within that 6 months. Okay? And make sure you know how to get in touch with Mr. Green.
Yes, he told me.
All right. Make some contact with him, make sure you know where to get the permits, follow through with this. Otherwise, you got a piece of property that looks like it could be valuable and take good care of it and then keep the city away from it. Okay? All right, thank you for coming today.
on this 1019 Washington.
Mr. Brown, this is Valeria Thomas. Just for clarification, on the last case, are we talking about 2 violations or?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Are you Deborah Maynard? Is that how I correct it?
No,
Who are you?
I'm Amber Collins,
And how are you related to the owner of the property at 416 North 10th Street?
No, sir.
1019.
1019, sir.
Okay. 1019 Washington.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're an heir of Ella Brown.
Yes.
Now, I'm good, all right. Playing musical chairs with the paperwork today. And how are you related to Ms. Brown?
I'm the granddaughter.
Granddaughter, very good. Property 1019 Washington, been in the family for a long time?
Yes.
Very good, okay, a lot of these properties have been. How long ago did Ms. Brown pass?
2010.
17. And y'all tried to probate this estate? And get the ownership?
No, her brother and sister stayed with her and we helped them throughout the years.
Just so you know, and I'm not your attorney, but you gotta get the ownership in the name of somebody who's alive. Or a trust or something of that nature, and until you do, you're probably never gonna be able to sell this. Yeah, I know, you may not want to sell it, but sometimes these properties go on like this, and finding someone responsible who's gonna make it work is an issue. But right now, the legal title's in the state, and it needs to be in the name of someone who's an heir. That's why the property appraiser usually the one who lists it like this, as the heirs of Ella, whoever that may be. And it gets harder, I'm sorry?
Dale Collins?
This just says the heirs of Ella Brown. Who own the property. Do you think somebody else owns this?
Yeah,
property?
my mom.
Well, again, I can't sort that out for you from here. The city is required to follow state law and city code and notify the people at the address of record and the owner of record. And right now, county seems to know that Ms. Brown has passed, but they don't know who the heirs are. And they haven't been established by the courts yet. That's what you have to probate for. Complicated process, and I can't get into that from here. But right now, you're here and you're indicating your granddaughter, Ms. Brown, okay? And what we're here for, as you probably have heard since you've been here for a little bit, watching some other cases, city looks like they still got 6 violations. Mr. Rivers, is your case?
Yes, sir.
And they're all still on board?
Yes, sir.
Right. And these violations deal with the property again at 1019 Washington. Is someone living in that property? It's vacant? When's the last time someone lived there? Very good, thank you. All right, what they're looking at, the city, a violation of section 30-171 of the code, which deals with broken windows on the property. Mr. Green will show us what those are. Well, hopefully. A violation of section 30-32A, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, again, roofing and disrepair. A violation of section 30-32A, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, fencing and disrepair. Another violation of 30-32A, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, overgrown grass. A violation of 30-32A, again, prohibited condition, trash and debris on the property, and I presume that's man-made trash. And
Yes, sir.
different from the vegetation.
Yes, sir.
And finally, a violation of section 30-13, responsibilities of owners of vacant, blighted, unsecured, or abandoned structures, clearing their open doors and windows in the property that allow people to get in. So basically, what I'm looking at is broken windows, a roof that needs to be repaired, fence that needs to be repaired, overgrown grass, trash and debris on the outside of the property, and unsecured entryways, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. For the record, you are here, and thank you for being here. The address we have for the heirs of L.M. Brown, it also says Thelma Collins on it.
Hero.
Okay, who is she?
My mom.
Yes, your mom. She must be, she's a contact person. She sent you, huh?
Yes.
Bless her.
Mhm.
Mother's Day is
Last
coming,
night.
Mother's Day is coming up. You gotta remember her, I'm sure. Tell her you gave her gifts, this is really. And the address is 5938 Morton Street, Columbus, Georgia, 31907. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Brandon. Okay. And did we get a green card back on this?
No, sir. I spoke with Miss Thelma twice on the phone.
Oh, the property. How'd you find out about your contact by telephone? Your mother told you.
Yes, you got
Yeah,
the
my
letter.
mom told me last night.
How did she find out?
She got the letter.
Okay, she got the letter.
Yeah.
All right, but you didn't get a green card.
She didn't send it back.
Well, it came back. It's here. It's unsigned.
Yeah.
So the post office isn't making people sign these things?
It's,
Okay. That should be festive to try to sort out in the future. We'll deal with that. All right, Mr. Green, tell us what we have. You got the photographs?
Yes, sir.
And did you take some photographs?
Yes, sir.
And do the photographs accurately represent the condition of the property on the day in which you took?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed. Giving me vertigo.
there we go.
Now I gotta turn sideways.
Yes, sir.
You flank you in the position to read the
Mhm.
photographs. Okay,
This is,
Photograph one.
this is taking 2023, the unsecured entryway. That's the front door.
So is there a door there at all?
Yes, sir.
So it's just open and
Yes, sir.
unlocked?
Yes, sir.
So it needs to be locked?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's a better picture of it. That's 2023.
Is that the
Yes,
same door?
yes, sir.
Okay.
This is the garage. And it's taking 2023.
So is that garage door just broken?
It was cut open.
Okay. So it's open. And
Yes, sir.
you get into the house behind that?
Yes, sir. And this is 2023 to be
All right.
unsecured entryway. This is 3 pictures of roofing that's in disrepair, 2023.
And can that roof be repaired short of replacement?
I don't think so, sir. It was a fire.
I'm sorry?
It was a fire. Fire. And this is 3B 2023.
Again, the roof in disrepair?
Yes, sir.
And what's happening? The tiles are rotting
Well,
or?
the top part, I guess I don't know if you call the top part of the roof, but they put a band over it, it's popped up, and I really can't get in the backyard to see. So I don't know if the backyard, the back of the roof is damaged a whole lot of what, but that part is popped up.
There's normally a tile cap across the top of that roof.
Yes,
Okay, those are asbestos tiles?
No.
Are they, I mean, it's not a
Big tile.
sheet, it's some kind of tile?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
sir.
like that, yeah.
Which,
And that's a broken window.
and how many are broken?
Well, two,
So I see the one immediate left,
yes,
which
but
other
this
one?
this one in the front,
Just one window in this photo?
yes.
Or-
That was taken 2023. And this for taken 14, 2023, picture 4B,
There's another window,
no such same number,
same window,
Yes.
still one window?
this one. And this is the overgrown grass,
That just needs to be mowed.
yes. Sir. Another picture of overgrown grass, another picture of overgrown grass. I don't remember that one, 6B, that's another. And this picture of fencing in disrepair,
Right, so you got however many feet that is, a fence on the front of the house next to the right of way.
yes, sir.
That fence just needs to be,
Replaced,
resemble the rest of the fence on the property.
yes, sir. And that's another picture of fencing in disrepair,
Anything else?
yes, sir.
Okay,
That's, trash and debris,
so you're looking at the blue bucket.
the trash inside, yes, sir,
And all that stuff in the garage.
yes, sir,
If they fix the garage door, can they put it all in the garage?
yes, sir.
Just needs to be off the outside of the property. which
Yes,
is
it's can't be seen, and then 14, 22, another picture of trash and debris.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Sit there.
So what we're looking at are one broken window. The roof, which looks like it's in a general state of disrepair, it's like it's old, rotted,
Yes,
and some of the tiles are missing, and the fence needs to be repaired on the front of the house,
mhm.
the grass needs to be mowed,
Yes, sir,
and the man-made trash and debris needs to be removed or at least gotten out of public sight.
yes, sir,
And looks like the front door needs to be locked.
yes, sir.
Can that front door be locked? You don't know, you're just here. Bless you.
I'm going,
Yeah.
I'll leave here.
There are people in life who are asked to do sacrificial things and come in and be the one that has to make an appearance to deal with all this. You don't know if the front door can be locked, but the answer is probably it needs to be locked or secured some way. It can be locked from the outside. They just, all they want is that somebody just can't walk in the house. But then you'll end up with squatters. And that's a problem. That's probably what, I can't say. I'm
So
thinking
that's what happened.
happened to the garage is what's going on. So the one broken window, roof needs to be repaired. The roof repair will require a permit.
Yes, sir.
And that will come from the county. Mr. Green can show whoever is going to handle this, who is the county to contact. Hold on to that thought. The fence needs to be repaired. Does that require a permit?
No, sir,
That can be done. You're just gonna get a fencing contract. The grass needs to be mowed. Bless you, but it takes some work. The trash and debris just needs to be out of sight. You fix that garage door, which is an access point.
yes, sir,
That's gotta be fixed. That goes back to, the unsecured entryway is next. But that trash and debris is basically talking about the man-made debris, man-made objects that are in the yard and can be seen from the outside. And then, looks like the front door in the garage needs to be, secured. You
yes, sir.
can't get in and out. Anything other than the roof need a permit,
No, sir,
all agreement. The city is asking to give you and your family 120 days to solve the problem, which means get a permit within 120 days as to the roof. But the grass needs to be mowed, the debris needs to be moved, the doors need to be locked. That garage door's gotta be fixed. And the window needs to be fixed or at least boarded to
Sure.
secure it. You don't even know the answer, I'm sure, as to whether that's a practical solution for you, do you? You did? Okay.
Yeah. This, our holdup right now is waiting on the, response from the insurance.
And I understand that, but That's not necessarily the city's issue.
Right.
That's something you gotta work with them on to make sure you got a reasonable timeframe.
How long is that going to take?
Not the insurance companies are barrel fund, and I can't speak for them and just what kind of claim you have and what the likelihood of their response time is going to be. How long have you been in the claims process?
Since, February?
Again, I don't know how to answer that. My suggestion is this. I mean, unless you have some counter evidence or objection, I think the violations exist. They are not, the one that's probably the biggest issue is going to be the route to get a permit for it. Those permits last 6 months. I don't even know how much it's gonna cost. And you can get the permit before there's an insurance settlement, but beware, the permit's like a 6-month time limit. So you gotta work that against the insurance settlement term. The other things, I don't know if the insurance company's gonna cover mowing the grass and moving the trash and debris and those types of things. So basically, if they get it 120 days, you've got until the end of the day on Wednesday, August 16th, 2023, to get the permit and do the other work that's required. Okay,
August 16th.
all right. My suggestion is whatever
Yes.
you do, stay in touch or have your mom stay in touch with Mr. Green. I think they know how to talk to each other about making progress. If there's some issues, stay in touch with them. You don't want to come back here and have to deal with this, and you really don't want to find stuff. And that's something they can help you with, but they're looking for good faith effort and progress. That's all they're looking for. You can take that back and relate to it. So basically what we're gonna do is find a violation of 30-171, the city code due to broken windows, 31. In violation of section 30-32A, due to conditions due to the roofing disrepair, it looks like the entire roof needs to be repaired.
Yes, sir.
From the front of the house. That will require a permit from the county. And it will require the acquisition of a permit from the county in order to satisfy compliance. A violation of section 30-32A, prohibited condition due to the fencing and disrepair on the front of the house. A violation of 30-32A, prohibited condition overgrown grass which needs to be mowed and maintained. 30-32A, prohibited condition due to man-made trash and debris in the yard which needs to be removed or put on site. And a violation of 30-13, two issues. One, an unsecured doorway, that is the front door needs to be locked, and the garage door needs to be fixed or some barrier put up there that prevents access. Okay. Now, until the end of the day, on Wednesday, October 16th, 2023, to bring the park into compliance. Still $150 fine, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
A daily fine of $150 will be applied to the property beginning on August 17th, 2023, with the minimum fine. However, make sure you stay in touch with me. Get a letter regarding the results after the record. Okay. And thank you very much for coming down here. You did a very nice job in handling all of this. Not somebody might have handled it differently. Trust me. I had a hearing today that somebody was, completely unhappy with everything in the whole process. So, again, you did a very good job, and thank you. Okay.
Next case would be 416 North 10th Street, case number 2023-047.
Where you at? 416 North 10th?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There's so far this here. All right, this is case number 2023-47. The property located at 416 North 10th Street, owner of record being Deborah Mena or Mena. Is Deborah Mena present or anyone representing Deborah Mena? I see and hear no one. We have 3 violations alleged. One is section 30-213 of the city code, responsibilities of owners of vacant lot that unsecured or abandoned structures due to an unsecured entry. If I alleged violation of section 30-169 of the code, building fronts and sides and letting streets or public areas due to mold and mildew on walls. And it's a violation of section 30-32A1 of the city code, prohibited conditions due to man-made trash and debris in the yard. And okay,
Yes, sir. That's picture number 1.
okay, right. You take photographs you're about to show us?
Yes, sir.
And photographs representative of the property and the date that you took them?
Yes, sir.
Let me inquire, since this neighbor is not here. We did send the address of record being put, 12212 Rolling Green Court, Jacksonville, Florida, 32246.
Yes, sir.
You get a green card back?
No, sir. But
We got
the,
one, it was unsigned.
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, but, the voluntary compliance card, we come back signed by this, man,
You did get a compliance.
the voluntary. Yes, sir.
And that address at 12212 Rolling Green Court.
Yes,
The
yes, sir.
address?
Yes, sir.
Did you have a chance to talk with this man?
No, sir, but I spoke with someone that represented her, and they said it's gonna knock it down. And what they need to do to knock it down.
Who represents her?
A nephew,
Get his name?
no, sir.
Not one.
He stopped me in the middle of the street.
Or just write it, you know, the more names you have, the merrier. And if you got somebody, it's more persuasive. All right, this is property 416 North 10th Street.
This is the overall picture, it's Tim and, Olive.
All right, show us what you have.
This is the mold in the middle in the front of the building. This is taken 3/2/2023. Picture
Pressure
one.
washing secure.
Yes, sir. And this picture was taken 4/14/2023, mold in the middle, picture 1B. This is the side of the building. This is Olive Street.
That's the side of the house.
It's a shed, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That looks pretty small for a house, I'll make sure that. And this is seen from which street?
Olive.
Colin? Okay.
This is,
The house is on a corner, basically.
yes, sir. Okay. This is 4/14/2023, mold in the middle. This is the trash and debris that's inside. You can see inside the shed.
Well, can you see it?
Yes,
From
sir.
outside?
Yes, sir. I'm standing at the side.
Oh, I see, sure.
Yes, sir. And this is 3B 4/14/23, same thing, trash and debris.
So is that like an open garage door?
Yes, it is.
That comes later as a violation?
Yes. And that's a side door. You can see that from 10th Street, North 10th Street. That's
So you can see it from, this is a third side, you can see from a public street?
yes, sir, from 10th Street.
Is there a vacant lot in there?
It used to be a house, the house burned down and the shed. And this is 4B 4/14/2023, on secure entryway.
So how many unsecured entryways is that?
Two.
Two?
This is the second one. The garage, 3/2/2023.
There's a garage in that door?
This is B on North 10th Street. And this is 4/14/23, 5B.
So is that garage connected to the house?
Yes, sir, that's the shed, period.
I'm sorry?
That's the entryway to the shed.
Okay. This provision provides for any structure having unsecured
Yes,
entryway?
sir.
So you have an unsecured entryway on the shed and one on the house?
No, it's the same place. The
So
door in
it's
the
only on the shed?
yes, sir. The two on the shed, The doors on the shed and the garage is on the shed.
What's that?
The house part.
Yeah, but
I was gonna show the initial photo that, Mr. Green took of the property. So show it's just,
Burned down with the house that was on this property.
yes,
All right, wasn't clear. All right,
it also has two unsecured entryways, the garage and the side door to the shed.
we look at mold and mildew on the shed and two unsecured entryways.
Yes,
and then trash and
And
debris.
it's
In the shed,
yes, sir.
but visible.
Yes, sir.
So that goes away if you block the doorway.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Has this man indicated any ability or
I haven't
timing
spoken
of
with him.
repairing the issue?
I haven't spoken with her, no, sir.
Did you have no contact with the owner or any representative?
So you talk to the nephew.
I talked to the nephew, but that might have been, I don't know for sure that that's his nephew, might have been someone who's being nosy.
That's why I say get their name, see if you got some. The more people you contact, you're going to notice the better off you're going to be. If you did post the property,
Yes,
and you had your affidavit of posting in the record, correct?
yes,
And it looks like you posted it on April 5th at the
Yes.
property and April 4th here at City Hall, correct?
yes.
Last call for Deborah Maynard, or anyone representing Deborah Maynard. You see here, no one, we're going to find a violation of section 30-213 of the city code regarding unsecured entry to the structure on the property, where there are two unsecured entries which need to be secured by doorways or some type of solid barrier that prevents entry into the property. Violation of section 30-169 of the city code regarding building fronts and sides, abutting streets or public areas due to mold and mildew on walls of the shed, and violation of 30-32 subsection A1 of the city code prohibited conditions of public nuisances due to trash and debris which is centered inside the shed, which would be cured by closing the doors and putting a door into the shed.
Yes,
City's asking for $75 a day fine and 60 days for compliance, is that correct?
yes, sir.
Magistrate will agree to a $75 a day fine, commencing the running off compliance on Wednesday, June 22nd, 2023, the last day of compliance being on Tuesday, June 21st, 2023. And there are no further required for any of the items that are required. for compliance.
No, sir.
Correct? All right. It's in order to the address of record. All right, thank you. Which one was that one? Yeah.
516 Bronson Street, case number 2023-057.
Washington Bronson,
Yes.
Leonard Jerome Miller, that's right.
Yes.
New property, 516 Bronson. Leonard Jerome Miller, Pleasant. Seeing here, no one, we have, according to the documents of record, alleged violations of three sections of the code, section 30-32B of the municipal code, really condition of public nuisance of a derelict vehicle, violation of section 30-170 of the code, rear and side walls, paint deteriorated and exposed walls, and section 30-169 of the code, building fronts and sides of letting streets or public areas rotten and weakened wood. And for the record, it looks like, check the due process issues.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he had two addresses. He had one in 516 Bronson. The other had a property in Opelika. Tax collector and property appraiser had two different addresses. So I sent a letter to each address.
Okay, well, I got a copy of the letter sent to the 1614 Northwest 20th Avenue, Opelika, Florida, 33054. Is that an official address on the property appraiser tax?
It's on one of them, one is on the tax collector and one is on the property appraiser.
Well, they had two different addresses.
Yes, sir.
And the other, letter, Jerome Miller at 516 Washington Street, which is the address.
The tax collector had Opelika and the property appraiser had 516.
But you did not get a green card signed back from either one. You got in contact with Mr. Miller, who was representing us.
His brother came in yesterday to ask, what the community do to bring the property in compliance.
It's what?
Brother,
Hey, what did he say?
what does he need to do to bring the property into compliance?
Okay. Going to do anything?
He said he was, he asked us for a few days, for 90 days to get everything done.
Okay. And his name was which, do you know?
Larry,
Larry Miller,
yes,
is that correct?
yes.
All right. Okay, did you take the photographs for that shows?
Yes, sir.
And do they accurately represent the condition of the property on data which you took?
Yes, sir.
Please proceed.
This is a, picture 316 of the derelict vehicles.
What makes them derelict?
The tires flat, they're not moving. He said his own self that neither one of them are registered and does not have a tag.
Okay. So he had tags and what?
Be able to move it, show me that the car moved as operable. And this is 414.
Just same two vehicles.
Yes, sir. That's a picture of another vehicle, the 316.
Why is this one derelict?
It's the same thing, tires and no tag, no registration.
Is that the wheel underneath the front of it?
You're like a, hubcap or
So it
something.
doesn't have wheels on it?
No.
I mean, the all four wheels gone?
Oh, I don't know. I can go on the property and see.
Okay, what can you see in that photo? Just
I see the right tire, the driver's side is
Okay.
gone.
Very good, okay, I see.
And now it's gone, the left feet moved.
That one's gone?
Yes, sir.
So there's just two left,
Yes, sir.
the red one and the white one,
Yes, sir.
very good.
And this is a picture of the deteriorating paint and the rotten wood. Right there on the banister, the rotten wood and the deteriorating paint.
And this is from the street side?
Yes, sir, that's on Bronson Street. And those blocks, the paint is deteriorating.
All right, what is
This is a no, this is 3B taking 414,
this? Is
2023.
this a photo?
Yes, sir.
Of the same
Yes, sir.
view we saw in the previous photo,
Yes,
the farther
sir.
back?
Yes, 414, picture 3B. And this is again like the house across the street. He has the walls covered, so
So what is that on the property? Is that a insulation?
no, that's lab again.
Oh, it's a lab for stuff on it?
Yes, sir.
You have a permit for that one?
I don't think so, son.
We would have to get a permit to finish.
Go the left, the purple for the stucco.
Yeah. Is that the solution for stucco?
Yes, but it's been like that for a few years.
I'm just asking what the solution is. What do
Keep
you have to
stucco.
do to,
Yes, so stucco. Or take it off and paint the house.
well, can't paint the layer.
I would suppose wood would go under there, the wall, I guess.
I just want to know what we gotta, you can tell them a clear picture of exactly what the compliances need to be.
Yes, sir.
I don't know about you, but I don't think you can paint the lab work and you gotta put something on it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next.
That's another picture, 4/14/2023.
So how much of the house is uncovered like this?
The whole front.
The whole front?
Yes, sir. And that's the side of the house that's deteriorating paint.
So we need to have a paint job put on it?
Pressure washing the paint is uniform coat paint. And this is 4/14, same wall, 5B, deteriorating paint. This is the other side of the house. It's taking 3/16/2023, deteriorating paint. This is 4/14/2023, same wall, 6B.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, so what we're looking at is the two derelict vehicles that need to be tagged and made operable, at least movable,
Yes,
all right? And the front of the house where the lap work is needs to be covered appropriately
yes, sir.
and permit required. And I don't know yet, do we need a permit and?
That's, you got to go down to public county.
But, so he does need one, so is getting a permit sufficient for compliance of that?
I don't think you need a permit for stucco.
All right, but you need to know.
If you need to go, you go and ask.
You need a permit and, in the permit and in the expiration of the permit will be sufficed. As long as the work is done in the expiration date of the permit.
And then the side walls, the rear walls of the house need to be basically pressure washed and painted.
Yes, sir.
And rotten weeping wood is it's like the front porch colors is the correction there.
Yes, sir.
And that needs to be,
Now, I was trying to pull the picture back up for you.
I'm sorry?
I was trying to pull the picture back up. for
Okay.
you. Yeah.
So it looked like it was just the front of the house on the.
Yes, sir.
And that house got like 3 different materials on each side of it. Go back. That's concrete,
Mhm.
just block. That looks, what, that.
That's the same side, it's just, the color, sunlight.
Okay, so that's the same side, okay. And then that block also.
No, so that's the old shingle that he's
I thought
inside.
so.
Oh, damn. I mean,
There's a shingle on that side,
So
lights on the front, shingle on that side, concrete on the first side, what's the
Wow.
other side got on
we can get that, you get that picture.
Not the backside.
it? Yeah, those are, God knows what kind of shingles it is.
I think those are,
Okay. And as long as you paint it, the city doesn't care that they're different material, right?
You want to pull the pen?
Well,
Well,
no.
no, maybe.
516.
516 Bronson.
Is that historic district?
It could be, I think it goes up to
4,
6.
6.
6. That's where the street signs change.
Well, let me ask y'all something. Historic district's got its own set of rules here.
Yes, sir.
Still code violations. I didn't bring it up.
I'm sorry, what was that, sir?
I mean, the historic district's got its own set of codes, correct? So I'm curious as
The
to,
districts have a code that requires people to get a certificate of appropriateness for any alterations to their structures. Demolitions, paint, porches, decks, windows,
do
everything.
all these applicants understand this?
We're working on that part, yes.
Yeah.
You understand, that's not just getting a permit from the county. Now you're
Yeah,
getting
I understand.
a certificate from,
And,
And
And
so the other case, 511 Bronson, would also refer.
y'all need to make sure they know about this.
well, we tried to tell them, and that's why some of these cases that we can define of which ones are
I
historic districts.
understand, but,
Yeah.
you know, you don't want them coming back in and can't get it done because of that, they didn't know they needed to do that.
Right, and we've discussed that, and they're telling you.
Yeah, and we're working on, and we're gonna have it more, we're gonna have it in our works template that's also the state that the historic district requirements and everything, so we're streamlined.
You see where I'm coming from, I don't want, you know, I'm not gonna be sympathetic if the applicant comes back and say, well, I did everything you told me to do, and yet now I'm finding out after the fact, oh, I gotta go through this other committee, and I can't get it done on time, don't start finding me. Okay, all right. And she's got a point, I mean, if they can't get approval and do the work without historic review,
Right, and we've also discussed, the changes that are being created, by the change in the Palatka Daily News publication schedule. They're only publishing 3 days a week now, Wednesday,
Oh,
Thursday,
sure.
and Saturday. So that has prompted the planning department to put back the deadline for applications to 5 weeks prior to an upcoming meeting, so that we can juggle all that stuff.
how much area does historic review cover in the city? I mean, you got the north and south
Aaron,
historic
can you
districts.
pull
but
up our
probably other-
website? You can talk about it for what it looks like. It's, I think about, if I remember correctly, it's on the order of about 500 houses between the 2 districts.
What would you like me to pull up, Ms. Welsh?
If you go to, I want to,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, and then, view maps. Oops,
It's okay.
yeah.
So it sounds like what y'all need to do is to cross-check and see whether the house is subject to code enforcement is in one of these districts that requires
Mhm.
that review.
Right,
And then compliance is gonna involve getting that review also within the time.
right. And so under maps, is there something, no, not that one, maps on the left, right?
Just read your,
May or may not be there. Okay,
no, ma'am.
try, government,
Just,
government, and go to historic preservation board.
Historic preservation.
And then, With links, historic district boundary.
Yeah, there's your districts.
So there's the two districts, north would be to your right, so it's not rotated correctly, but north would be to your right.
Yeah.
It's not a big area in the city, but
Uh-huh.
So we're looking at city coming in from the east,
mhm,
and the North District is there,
right,
South District is down there,
right.
and those are pretty familiar. We're, see anything else? So this Bronson Street house is just in the North District.
Yes. We are currently, just as an FYI, we're currently in the process of updating our cultural resource survey, which inventories all of the structures within these boundaries. The last time, when it was done, the first time it was done in 1981. And so some of the houses or structures were not listed as contributing, which only meant that they were less than 50 years of age at that time.
Just as a curious, this is not relevant, how did Mulholland Park escape the district? Just not old enough?
I don't know.
Interesting question, all right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the houses that I see on that street, several of them would have qualified. So I'm not sure if it was, concerted effort by the residents at that time to say no, which could very easily have happened.
All right, very good. All right, so basically, they're gonna need, as to this case, they're gonna need a historic preservation permit. for compliance.
Certificate of appropriateness. Yeah.
For sure.
Some of those I can approve at the staff level. So for example, like paint or like for like change out of something, routine maintenance kind of stuff. But
Just give your name for the record, please.
sorry, sir, my name is Lisa Walsh, planning director of the city of Washington.
Okay, we're gonna, based on the evidence testimony presented on the violation of 30-32B of the city code, prohibited condition due to two derelict vehicles on the property that are untagged and not movable. Violation of section 30-70 of the city code, rear and side walls due to deteriorating paint and exposed walls. Needs to be basically pressure washed and painted, is that correct?
Yes.
And then violation of section 30-169, building fronts and sides of abutting streets or public areas, water to weakening wood. Did we get to that? That was the front area, that was the front porch.
Yes.
The two outside of the front porch.
Yes.
The exposed wall, the number two, is also the raised wall. Needs to be stucco,
Yes.
somehow otherwise covered. All of which is going to require a certificate of appropriateness from historic preservation. Cities requested 90 days for compliance. That date would be on July 17th, 2023. $75 a day fine is hereby assessed on the property in the event of non-compliance. That fine to begin on Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. In the event of non-compliance, all the fines will be due. Yeah. All right. We have two choices between them.
618 North 19th Street, case number 2023-043.
Thank you, Ms. Walsh. This case number 2023-43, property again, 618 North 19th Street. The property owner of record appears to be the estate of Sarah Johnson. Two violations are alleged. Violation of section 30-32A of the code, prohibits conditions of public nuisances due to overgrown yard or presumed high vegetation. And then section 30-169, building fronts inside the building streets of public areas, deteriorating structures, wall windows, and fire damage. Is anyone representing the estate of Sarah Johnson present? We can hear no one. This is a matter of due process. Okay. This one's got some of the things that go back to another case. All right. Now I'm back on Brian. Okay, that's the one. And this is the last case, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have these two extra piles of paper here that they're variable funds. So we'll leave those here. Like these. That one there. The favorable clip for the three new ones. Our case then. 2023-43, 619 North Langston Street, to the state of Sturgeon. I'm going to look at that will be processed. Looks like we sent certified mail to the state of Sarah Johnson here, really
Flaxen.
LOTSON, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
At 6801 Northwest 5th Street, Plantation, Florida 33317. That's the official address of record of the property preparation tax collector rolls.
Yes, sir.
All right, you have no contact with Mr. Watson or anyone else?
No, sir, he signed for the green card, but nothing.
And you posted the property in accordance with state statute,
Yes, sir.
and you have your affidavit of posting included in the record.
Yes, sir.
And we have mentioned the violation 30-32A, really condition of public nuisances of the yard, and 30-169, building fronts and sides of like streets or public areas with deteriorating structure, no windows and fire damage. Okay, did you take the photos you're about to show us as demonstrative evidence?
Correct, yes, sir.
And do the photos accurately represent the condition of property or data which you took?
Yes, sir.
Very well, please proceed.
Yes, sir. This photograph here was taken on March 1st. This is the first photo. It has the deteriorating structure, the excessive growth, weeds and brush, it has a broken fence, and it has windows and doors all unsecured in the roof.
So what I'm looking at, well, vegetation is growing up all around the house and
Yes.
over the house.
Yes, sir.
And is that the roof? Looks like one side of the roof is missing.
It looks like there was a fire, but you're correct, sir. It looks like part of the roof is missing on the top.
Some of the siding is missing.
Yes,
Window
sir.
is broken and open.
There's no windows in there.
And is the house completely open here on the left?
On both sides, it's unsecured. One side just has the window, which is open in the roof, and then the other side is open also. And this was the follow-up, which was taken on April 14th, 2023. It's just got more overgrown growth, so you can barely see the house now.
And it has been growing for a while there. It appears.
This was the other side view where, of the home, where you could see the front doors unsecure and where the roof is coming up. And that was, another side. It was taken on, April 14th, 2023. And that was the follow-up on the front. Now you can see where it's just almost completely overgrown. Taken on April 14th.
So is that, when we're looking at the opening there, it looks like it looks into the house and there's fire damage there.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Is that just looking at the inside of the house, is the front of the house completely going there?
Part of the front house is, the other part you can't see because of the brush.
This has been there for a while. So basically, we need to clear the vegetation and we sort of trees in there and leave those, but they need to clear the ground vegetation.
Correct, and secure the building.
And the repairs to the house, I mean, it looks like the roof is damaged, the side of the house is missing, the total house is unsecured, is that correct?
That's correct.
Is there any way to save this house?
That's not a, I don't think we can, but that's the owner's property, owner's right to try to secure it, save it, so we say replace repairable, depending on what it was.
Basically, they'd have to fix the roof. It looks like the roof is actually open, but sides of the house are completely open. So they can try to fix it, or they can demolish it and at least demolish it.
Yeah,
And
more replace.
if there's no longer a house there, is the brush still a problem?
The whole lot is open.
Or is residential?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes if there's not a house on it, you can kind of grow wild.
If it has been developed as a house, they gotta maintain the property. If it's never been a house on there, then you can have a wooded area, as long as you keep it neat and no trash or debris inside the property. But if it's just as the house is on there, now they don't have to maintain that as an area or a lot.
Listen,
And let's go on to last call for anyone representing Sarah Johnson or the estate of Sarah Johnson. Seeing and hearing of one, we're gonna find violation of section 30-32 of the municipal city code prohibiting conditions and public nuisances due to a severely overgrown yard, which needs to be resolved by mowing and removing overgrowth except for against the natural trees, bring it back down to a manicured and maintained level, at least a maintained level. And violation of section code section 30-169, building fronts and sides due to totally deteriorating roof, missing sides of the house, extensive fire damage, no windows and doors, completely public access and then the 120 days for compliance. Compliance in this case being getting permits to do this, compliance being removing the overgrown vegetation, getting permits, given the repairs from destruction, demolition of the home. And we'll issue an order saying that, give them 120 days, compliance date being Wednesday, August 16th, 2023, by the end of business. If they have non-compliance, a fine of $50 a day will begin on the property beginning on August 17th, 2020. There being no further visit for the special magistrate, we shall conclude today's proceeding. We know when you're on.